What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to another video. I am your host, Nico from Aquatics.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, I know it's been a while since I've done a video, so hopefully you guys are still rocking with me. This channel has actually increased in subscribers. It's funny, I stopped doing videos for a while, took a break, so I'm focusing on my more political commentary. You can go to realnse.com to check that out. But enough of that. I've literally gained like 30 subscribers in the past couple months since I've taken a break. But I am back at it. Going to be doing more videos here. So be sure to subscribe, hit the like button if you enjoy the content. Thank you so much for that. Also, real quick, shirts are available right in the link below, Nico's Aquatics. And also there is a Stay Wet logo on the back. Little thing with an arm going into the tank, saying Stay Wet, which is my slogan. So check that out. They're real cheap if you like want to support the channel. I appreciate it. And basically we're going to be working on the little tank here. As you can see, it is not neglected, I would say, but not I haven't focused on it that much. This is at my sister's house. I designed this with my son probably 6 months ago, and then we moved, you know, yada yada yada. It was a shrimp tank. Now it's got rasboras in it and some pygmy cory cats and a couple of variations of snails. I'm very happy with the tank still as it sits. So let's do ahead and do a close-up on it. I'll show you what I'm going to be working on. All right, so as you can see, there is a lot of algae on the, a lot of hair algae growing on the glass. Let's see if we can get a clear shot here. There we go. There you go. Now, before you go judging me too hard, and there's also some light filming up here. The water's pretty clear. It is basically almost crystal clear when you look. Like, as you can see right there, it's pretty clear. Tank is still in great shape as far as water quality. I do have to change the filter, change the cartridge out, excuse me, but I'm not gonna do that now. There's gonna be too much strain on this little of a tank. So I have 4 rasboras in here, 2 black and 3 of the port chop, I think they're called. Oh wow, they're going into it. You saw that? They're munching on that algae. That's so cool. I don't feed this tank but more than maybe 3 times a week. And there's also, I think, 4 or 5 pygmy cory cats in here who are doing fantastic. Hopefully they'll peek their head out somewhere. So I have a bunch of crypts in here who, the crypts are just amazing. I love crypts, man. So I got crypts in there. I got Amazon sword. I got dwarf sage. I have Christmas moss. And there's also a couple of floating plants here. I forget the name of it, but of course they're all stuck on the filter intake. But what I was saying is before, oh, there we go, right there. These guys are so cool, man. They're so active. They're perfect for a small tank. Highly recommended. So there's just some things I'm gonna be working on the tank. Obviously reattaching the filters to the glass. I'm gonna be picking just small things. There's obviously the ammonia meter needs to come back up. What I'm gonna be doing is I'm not going to be scraping the algae off of the sides. They're really not too bad. That brown algae I'm not a fan of. I might get that off. But the green algae, I'm a huge fan of green algae. I'm gonna be taking most of this off the front just so we can see in, because it doesn't look all that great right now. I love the natural look. You know, it's funny because if you guys have been following me for a while, I used to, you know, 8 or 10 years ago when I started Nico's Aquatics on the other channel, where I was really getting a ton of views. I was like one of the top rated fish tank channels, but you know, it took a long break, and you know, I've already went through all that. But I used to be very, very picky with my tanks. You know, anything that was out of spot, I would fix it. Then as I've gotten older, I've really started to appreciate the more natural look. You know, that's why I don't use any of the stupid Walmart, you know, decorations. If you use those, hey, that's, you know, your choice. But I can't stand tanks that have those. I have dragon stone in here, 2 dragon stones, one there, one in the back, and then just, you know, little pieces of driftwood, natural plants, and that's really all I do for my tanks. I don't use anything else because I love the natural look, and the algae really adds to that. Now this isn't going to be for everyone. You know, some people may really dislike this and think it's hideous, but hey, that's, you know, that's up to you. My other tank is crystal clear at my father's house where I primarily stay. I'm going to be doing a video on that soon. Here's my plan. So I'm gonna fix all the things as far as, you know, reattaching to the heaters and the ammonia meter, and then I will be I may trim up some plants here or there, like some of this needs to be trimmed. I may do that, and then take off some of this algae, most of the algae up front, and then that's it. I'm not gonna be scraping really anything else. I may do some of this side with the brown algae. Not a huge fan of the brown. And then I'm also going to be putting a air stone on a very low setting. Probably I'm going to do that just to get some surface agitation. Mainly this filter needs to be changed. That's why the top is so kind of filmy. But like I said, the levels are all good in this tank. They're really good. So I'm going to be cleaning this up, doing a water change, and then I'll be back to show you what I have done and how it turns out. All right, so I'm all done, and I'm extremely happy with it. Let me kind of give you a rundown of what I did. So I obviously did a water change. It's kind of a semi-small water change. Obviously, this is a very small tank, so I can only take out so much. I did it without the end, which just the tubing here, because this tank, if I did it with the end, it's way too much, and then just harder, takes out too much. So I did the end, and then was careful with the rocks, and then just when I went around, I put this back, cleaned it off. It was covered with algae. Put that back, stuck back the heaters. Obviously took off all the algae up here. I'm really happy with it. It is basically crystal now. You can see right through it. And I left the hair algae over here. Didn't touch that side. This side, I took that big clump of brown algae, most of it off of there. So now you can see right through it. Very happy with that. And obviously dosed it with the ferts. Put the aquarium salt, like a couple pinches of that. Put only very small amounts of these two. Now the reason why I did that is because the plants are doing really well. And then obviously the algae, the tank has enough nutrients. I just wanted to dose it a little bit because I took water out. I took it down to about here, which is, I don't know, maybe 20-30% roughly. And I put a little bit extra of the CO2 booster in there because the CO2 basically gets rid of algae. It helps control the algae. So I put a little bit extra than I normally do with that. Obviously hit it with the bacteria balance, and then I also put a couple of almond leaves in there, mini almond leaves. Reason why I did that, because I want to, I mean, it keeps the tank very healthy. There was 4 old ones in there that I took out, so I wanted to replace them. And as you can see, they're still floating. They haven't quite sunk yet, except for that one back there. Hopefully it darkens up the water a little bit, because I like tannins in the water. It's very healthy for them. But if not, you know, it adds some naturalness to the tank, and also is natural medicine for them. Helps heals up wounds and whatnot, so I highly recommend that for any tank, really. Let's see, what else? Oh, also I did the little trick here for the floating plants. Oh, and by the way, that's giant duckweed. Sorry, I totally forgot about it, but that's giant duckweed. As you can see, they're rooting really good. They're a really healthy plant. And obviously they get stuck on the filter a lot. That was the big issue, why the filter was clogged up. But I went ahead and did the little trick here. That's just, there's a bunch of DIY videos if you want to watch it. It's just airline tubing with a regular straw. Sorry, blanked out there. a regular straw to connect it. So that's really good. I like that. Keeps it from kind of everything in one spot, so that's great. So I shouldn't have that issue anymore with the filter. There's a big, huge clump of Christmas moss in there. Just kind of left it all there, and whatever. Also some Java moss too. Tank is looking really good, man. I'm really happy with this. And by the way, that's just an empty shell there. There's nothing in there. And also I had to do a full clean on the filter. Put some a new media in there as well. I said I wasn't going to do that, and I wasn't going to, but the reason why I did that is because kind of like an idiot, I made a newbie mistake. So basically I unplugged the filter, grabbed all, because I wanted to put it up here, all that giant duckweed, and obviously the filter was clogged, so it spit a whole bunch of crap everywhere. So I figured, you know what, let me just do it. But the difference is I went ahead and put this directly on the filter media, so that should help it kind of kickstart it. Took a little less water out than I was going to, so it shouldn't affect them at all. As you can see, they're not stressed or anything. They're perfectly fine. Nobody's breathing heavy. No gills flared up, and then obviously those guys are real active back there, so nobody's stressed. They're good. And then this stuff really helped. I highly recommend that stuff. Also, what I did as well is that's just a sponge. There's no actual whatchamacallit in there. Oh, look, there's near-eyed snails back there. Lazy, so lazy. I gotta get a small algae eater for this tank because these snails are just not cutting it. And I don't want to put any sort of apple snails or anything in there, pond snails. They're just gonna take over the tank, and this tank is too small for that. So I'm probably, I don't know what I'm gonna get as far as an algae eater. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, it's just a piece of sponge in there. And what I did is I went ahead and, let me try to get this focused, sorry for the shakiness. So I put some of this in there as well. Now what this is just basically ceramic pieces. I'll show you, I'll open it up. I've never actually used these, but they come highly recommended. Kind of just like ceramic little, almost like rock-like pieces. Took forever to rinse them off. They come in an actual bag, but because this filter is so small, I wasn't able to fit the bag in there. So what I did is I opened it up, took about 6 or 7 pieces. I can't really see it. They're at the bottom. You can kind of see there a little bit, but they're at the bottom, just to kind of give it more of the beneficial bacteria, more of a surface to kind of attach onto and live. Just because, again, that's just a sponge. A sponge in here. See, so, yep, that's about it. I'm extremely happy with it. It's gonna look even better in a couple of hours, overnight, when everything kind of calms down, the dust settles, as they say. But, yeah, more to come, man. I'm probably gonna add maybe a couple more tiny fish in here, maybe a couple more of the rasboras, because they like to school a little more. Maybe 2 more, maybe. Also get some sort of an algae eater. If you have a recommendation on an algae eater, drop it below, a small one. And that's about it, y'all. I really appreciate checking out the video. More to come. I'm gonna be doing these more often. I'm gonna do a video probably here next week on the other tank, the 20-gallon. And that's it. God bless. Stay safe. Later, guys. Stay wet. See ya.